Welcome to episode 6, Building Prompts with CREAD. CREAD is a practical reminder for explaining work clearly. Its 5 letters refer to context, role, example, action, and details. They are not mandatory steps or a rigid formula. They are 5 questions that help you notice information AI may need before it can prepare a useful draft. This episode builds directly on better prompt writing. We will use CREAD to organize the situation, perspective, reference, requested action, and necessary conditions. The next episode will move from writing one request to improving repeated work through standards and feedback. CREAD gives us a shared language for making expectations visible. The 5 letters act as reminders. Context explains why the request is needed. Role identifies the perspective that should guide the work. Example provides a useful reference when one is available. Action states what should be done. Details specify format, tone, length, limits, or other conditions. Use the parts that matter, they do not require equal length. Think of CREAD as 5 independent questions. What situation makes this request necessary? What role or perspective would be helpful? What reference or model should the output follow? What exact work should be performed? What conditions must the result satisfy? Missing one element can be acceptable when it does not affect the result. This example combines all 5 parts naturally. An online store order has been delayed. The request asks for the perspective of an experienced customer support representative, uses a calm and respectful service style, requests a notice explaining the delay and next steps, and limits the result to 120 words without sounding dismissive. The structure clarifies the work without making the message sound artificial. CREAD improves communication but does not guarantee correctness. A good structure helps reveal missing context and unclear instructions. It does not make facts automatically accurate, eliminate every hallucination, or remove the need for human review. The framework helps us explain the work, verification still determines whether the result can be used. Brief AI as you would brief a capable coworker. Write a customer notice gives no information about the customer, situation, tone, channel, or required action. A useful brief explains that an online store buyer is affected by a delayed shipment, requests a calm and polite email, and asks for an explanation of the delay and the next step. Relevant facts make the task understandable. A rough idea becomes usable through clarification. Begin with the core need, such as telling a customer that an order is late. Add the situation and known facts. Add standards for tone, channel, and necessary information. Then review the draft for accuracy, policy, and customer impact. Revision supplies missing information, it is not merely a request for different wording. You can read a prompt by locating its working parts. In this notice request, the delayed order provides context. The customer support perspective defines the role. Writing a notice states the action. The request for a polite email and clear next step provides details. An example is optional because the desired style is already understandable. When you do not know how to write a prompt, ask AI for examples. Instead of stopping at "I know what I want to learn, but I do not know how to ask," name the work and request several prompt examples. Ask for an explanation of when each example would be useful. You can learn prompt structure while still keeping the real task at the center. Prompt examples can support different learning needs. A learning plan may request a 2-week schedule. An easy explanation may ask for beginner-level language and examples. A practice assignment may focus on one concept at a time. A self-check may use questions that reveal understanding. Select the example closest to your purpose, then adapt it rather than copying it blindly. A practical beginner workflow has 5 actions. Describe the task in ordinary language. Ask for several prompt examples. Select the example that best fits the need. Adapt the facts and standards to your situation. Test the result and revise it. The goal is a useful prompt, not a perfect prompt on the first attempt. This reusable request can help when you need suggestions. The work I want to do is blank. What prompts would help me ask ChatGPT effectively? Please create several examples and explain when each one is useful. You can refine the suggestions by asking for a different purpose, more specific options, comparisons among examples, or changes for a particular audience. A prompt collection is optional. It can be helpful when you are learning a structure, repeating similar work, or trying to remember an effective pattern. Do not collect prompts without understanding them, assume that more examples are automatically better, or rely on the number saved. Create a collection only when it supports real work or learning. Organize a useful collection with 5 labels. Give the prompt a title that identifies the work. Save the prompt itself. Record when to use it and which situation it fits. Note the variables that must change each time. Add a verification reminder describing what should be checked. A useful collection stores reasoning, not just sentences. A strong first prompt may still need revision. Read what was produced, identify the specific problem, request a targeted change, and review the new version. This is the normal process of making your standards clearer. Do not restart the entire conversation when one precise correction can move the work forward. Name the problem in the result. If the language is too technical, request plain language. If the response is too long, set an appropriate length. If the structure is hard to compare, request a table. If it lacks realism, request a suitable example. If it makes unsupported claims, require verified facts and removal of unproven language. A concrete correction is more useful than this is wrong. Now build one CREAD prompt. Describe what is happening, choose the perspective that would help, and identify any useful reference. State the action AI should perform and the conditions the result must satisfy. Combine these facts into natural language rather than writing 5 disconnected labels unless the labels help you think. Check the prompt and the result separately. For the prompt, ask whether the situation is clear, required roles and standards are visible, and unnecessary detail has been removed. For the result, verify facts, fit, format, and any issue requiring human judgment. A clear prompt improves the draft, a separate review protects the final use. CREAD should help you remember 4 broader habits. Explain the situation clearly. Direct the work by naming useful standards. Use dialogue to add missing information and improve the result. Verify the final answer before using it. Prompt skill is the ability to explain, adjust, and review, not the ability to memorize a formula. Build one CREAD prompt from a task you actually need to complete. Describe the situation, name the required action, add useful details, and then review and revise the result. In episode 7, we will apply these habits to documents and work, where source material and output standards become especially important. The QR code opens the Amazon page for the optional English companion guide.